Every 10 years, Portland City Council convenes a charter commission, and their task is to make recommendations to potentially change how the city government runs. This year, the momentum for making that change is more than it's ever been. With public hearings wrapping up this month, Portlanders will vote in November on what could be radical changes to Portland City Council. With me right now is Charter Commission co-chair Melanie Billings-Yun. Thanks for joining me on Eye on Northwest Politics.
I look forward to talking to you.
Well, Portland is the only major city in America with a commission-style government. Why does that need to change?
Well, there are a number of reasons. First of all, it makes it very hard to deal with long-term big problems because the running of the government is divided between various commissioners. It also means that our city councilors, instead of being able to represent the people, are representing bureaus. It leads to a lot of inefficiency. I could go on, but I think I've made the main points.
What are your major recommendations at this point?
We have three major recommendations, and I like to say that they make up a three-legged stool because it's pretty important that they all go together to make this stool balanced. The first, of course, is to change that commission form of government into something that is more of a mayor-council form. But it's a hybrid version, not with a strong mayor as they've proposed in the past. The mayor would be the chief executive who would propose the budget and run the city, but would be assisted by a professional city administrator so that we have a professional person at the top looking at the management of the bureaus. And then the city council would become a legislative and representative body for the people. The second leg of that stool is that the city council would be expanded to 12 members. Currently, we have 4. That was fine when it was developed 107 years ago, and Portland had a population of 200,000. But now we have over 650,000. So we're looking at a 12-member council that would have district representation. They would be divided between 4 districts, each district having 3 representatives. The reason we want the 3 representatives per district is that, number one, it will lead to much better representation of the people rather than someone who might only represent 50% or fewer. And secondly, because they'd be better able to deal with the multiplicity of problems that the city is facing today. And then the third element is ranked choice voting in a single election, which would take place in November, and once again would make it more effective in terms of representing the choices of all the people of Portland.
We've talked to the mayor and all the city commissioners on this program and asked them about the current system. Here's what Mayor Ted Wheeler had to say.
This is a terrible form of government. We all know it. The commission form of government has long been discredited. It was created in the early 1900s at a time when people didn't want consolidation of authority or power. Now people are seeing that's a folly. The city is larger, it's more complex, the issues are deeper, and it requires more coordination amongst bureaus.
I would take it you would agree with that assessment.
I would. And so would all 20 members of the commission because we voted to make that change unanimously.
Now, this process happens every 10 years, but I've never seen this kind of interest in Charter Commission recommendations. Why do you think it's different this time around?
Portlanders are pretty much fed up. Back when it failed the previous time in 2007, 70% of Portlanders said that they were happy with the direction the city is going. Right now, those numbers are in the single digits. In terms of the comments that we've gotten from the public, and we've gotten thousands of comments, we haven't had a single one that said things are going well.
Okay, so you haven't heard from anyone who thinks we should keep things the way they are?
No, we haven't.
The biggest criticism, and you've mentioned it, that I've heard about in terms of Portland's form of government is that individual commissioners are in charge of individual bureaus, and that leads to a lack of coordination on big issues. Do you have a specific example of that?
Well, just recently, the mayor said that he was going to have someone who would be kind of a czar overlooking at trash. And then that he mentioned that there are 8 different bureaus dealing with trash right now under 4 different commissioners. So I think there's an example right there. When we spoke to the bureau heads, we learned that the Office of Emergency Management was under a different commissioner from the Office of Emergency Communications. These are problems.
What are the next steps in the process before we get to vote on it in November?
We're in our final period of listening to the public. We have a live meeting, meaning that human beings will be coming, a live meeting this Sunday, but we continue to take written comment, and we will continue to do so until 5 o'clock on May 30th. And at that point, we will make any adjustments to what we've already agreed to and vote on those in mid-June. It will then go to the lawyers to write the ballot language, and the final vote will take place at the end of June.
And if voters do approve the recommendations, when would they be effective?
So the vote would take place, of course, in the November ballot. We are looking at almost immediately getting started. If it passes, we want to have a commission that would design those districts, and that commission would begin on January 31st. The districts would be drawn, and the system of electing the larger city council would take place in November of 2024. In terms of rearranging the commission form, that one is more up in the air. We don't have the ability to do the timing on that. However, the mayor, the current mayor, does have the ability, if he wanted to get started right away, he has the ability to start rearranging how bureaus are managed.
Melanie Billings-Yun, thank you for joining me on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you.